Hi, this is Randy with SmoothieMakersHQ.com, and today I'm going to do a comparison review between the Blendtec, or the Vitamix and the Blendtec. It's going to be a little bit different review in that I'm not going to make smoothies in these. There's a gob of videos out there showing you how to make smoothies, and frankly, both of them, most of the videos you see say that the green smoothies that these make are equally smooth and creamy and so forth. I would agree with that, but how you get there, I think, is different between the two machines. So I'm going to point that out. I'm just going to point out some differences that I haven't seen a lot of videos done on this. I apologize up front if this video lags, but you're talking about $400 blenders here, so I want to give you as much information as I can. The first comparison is just overall size. The Blendtec, and by the way, this is the Blendtec Home with a wildside 64-ounce jar. This is the Vitamix. It's the Creations, which is the same as the Vitamix 5200, and it has the 64-ounce jar as well. I think I might have said 64 on this. This is actually 90 ounces, sorry. So that tells you the models on them. Base-wise, the Vitamix is a little bit bigger. The Vitamix is a little bit wider. It's just a lot more beefier base. It's a lot heavier than the Blendtec. Frankly, I like this stoutness of this because this, to me, this overall machine tells me commercial quality. This one is residential quality, consumer use quality, even though the warranties are the same. But the build on this, it's a lot heavier and than the Blendtec. It's a lot thicker plastic. The switches are just more stout, even though that doesn't have switches. This is all push button, all electronic control. The big difference is the size of the jars. So as you can tell, the Vitamix jar, there's no way that that's going to fit underneath the counter. So if you're going to store this on your countertop, then you got to put the base in there and put the jar beside it or put the jar in another cabinet. Whereas on the Blendtec, you can fit it under the cabinet. Now in my particular cabinet, I have to at least take the stopper out, or generally I just take the whole lid off, but the whole thing will slide under the cabinet and store that way, which is a nice feature. The jars, quality wise, the Blendtec is a lot thinner plastic. They're both PBA free, and by the way, this is what's going to happen on all your high-speed blender jars. You can see that's scuffed on the inside. These turn at such a high RPM that the food is it literally scuffs the plastic. No way it degrades in the usefulness of it, but that does happen. But the Blendtec is just a lot thinner plastic, whereas the Vitamix is a lot thicker plastic. The handle on this is rubberized, a lot better grip, has a nice little indentation here for your thumb, has a pour spout here. Oops. Whereas you can use the four corners of the Blendtec as a pour spout. I really don't have any problems doing that. So that's not a big detriment. The lid design to me is a major factor on the Vitamix. You can see there's a little, if I can get this oriented right, I can't brush my hair in a mirror either. There's a little locking that actually locks the lid onto the, if you can hear that, it locks. This lid is not going to come off. Okay. Has a nice hole here that you can put down ingredients down in the blender while it's blending. And the other big feature is it actually sits up above the jar. So I have filled this completely to capacity, actually overfilled to where it's down in this part of the lid and or jar, and never had a problem with this lid coming off. This Blendtec lid, it's also rubber, has a nice fill hole as well, but this does not fit as tightly. It's just a slip-on, does not lock. This does not, the stopper does not lock inside here. Now, where that's a big deal is when you're blending. Now, when I blend, I use these. I blend normally a very full pitcher in both of these, and then fill up mason jars and keep for the day. Blendtec's a 90 ounce. This is 64. I have had twice in using the Blendtec where I've filled this up and put it on blend, and the lid is literally blown off. I'll put some pictures up on that you can see now. It makes a mess. I've never had that happen on the Vitamix. So consequently, well, first of all, if you look at Blendtec, they only recommend you put half capacity. So this 90 ounce jar, they recommend you only put 45 ounces in it, which is about down to here, which I believe is because they know this lid's going to blow off. Well, psychologically, that's just not going to happen. First of all, I'm not going to measure that stuff. Second of all, like I said, I want to maximize how much smoothie I can make in these things at one time. So it's a one-time deal. I'm done for the day, and then I enjoy my smoothies the rest of the day. Or I can do other things with these. But you're going to fill this up pretty full. At least I do when I blend it. And I have to keep my hand on this lid because I'm not going to have that mess again. The second thing is with the Blendtec is because this is not lock, does not seal, what you're going to do is get your smoothie material or whatever you're blending, if you have a full jar full, is going to come up through the lid, the stopper here, and it's going to sit in this lid. And again, I'll put a picture up so you can see what I'm talking about. Not a huge deal. It's just, to me, a big pain. I got to take a spatula, and when I'm done, scrape all that back down into the opening. It's not thoroughly blended along with the rest of the stuff. So for me, it's just an inconvenience factor more than anything. So definitely for me, the jar design on the Vitamix is the big winner. The jar design, I actually like the Blendtec design. It's square, it's smooth, it's a lot easier to get down in if you're making some type of hummus or you're making, say, ice cream. It's a lot easier to get down in the jar and get all the materials out of this because it's square cornered and they're very smooth on the inside. Whereas on the Vitamix, it's not the case. It's a circular, and to help mix up, create a lot of agitation in the jar, you've got these in here. It's not a completely smooth inside, and it's just, it tapers down at the bottom. So it's not quite as easy to get down in there and get all the materials out, which really was a big deciding factor in me getting the Blendtec. So if you're talking about just doing smoothies, no difference. They're both just easy to clean. You make the smoothies, I pour them out, I rinse it out. I might put a little bit of soap and water in these, flip them on, let them clean themselves, rinse them out, I'm done. So that's not a big deal. It's when you branch off into other things, and like I said, you make dressings or you make sauces or syrups, you know, whatever. In the two, ice cream is another big one I love making in these. It's just a lot easier to deal with this on the Blendtec than it is on the Vitamix. Again, the heft of this is a lot heavier duty model. Don't know if I mentioned before, this to me says commercial grade. This to me says residential, non-commercial grade. The warranties are the same at 7 years, depending on where you buy the product, but to me, this just has a lot more beefiness to it, a lot more heft to it. It's, you know, this thing's probably going to outlive me, and this one, not so sure about, you know, even though the warranties are the same. Okay, I'm going to continue this video on a part 2.